Hi everybody, my name is Margaret and welcome to my channel Texas Gal Treasures. In today's video we're going to be talking about repousse and chasing. We'll also touch a little bit on what etched and stamped metals are. If you enjoy videos like these, I'd love to have you subscribe. Go down there and hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it so that you're notified when I put out new videos. Also, follow me over on Facebook and join my Facebook group, Texas Gals Jewelry Lovers, where we share all kinds of information about buying and selling jewelry. But in this video, we're going to be talking a little bit about repousse, which is a style of pressing metal and forming it into artistic patterns. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that so that you can get a better idea if you're selling jewelry or you find something, how to describe it so when you're selling it and the buyer is looking for this particular style of jewelry, that they are sure to find what you are selling because you have it labeled accurately. As always, I strive to do my best to give the most accurate information possible. So if ever you notice something that I've left out, or perhaps something that is a little bit off in the things that I'm telling you, please leave a comment down below because I can always find ways to edit that back in or let people know maybe in the group that there was a little bit something off in the video. But I do my best to give the most accurate information possible. So what got me thinking about doing this video was that I had a few pieces of jewelry that I was listing and I needed to make sure that I described them in the title accurately so that if someone was looking for that particular style of jewelry, they could find it. Let me show you the pieces I'm talking about. So the first piece I was listing was this one with the lion that's been pressed into it. And then the other one is this jewelry piece that has these flowers and leaves. And this one you can really see a lot better of the repousse design on the back. But before I go into it any further, let's talk about what repousse is. So I'll link these sites that I share with you guys down below. So repousse is a metal working technique where they take a thin sheet of metal and then they press designs or hammer designs from the back and they raise it up, and repousse means to raise up, and so they raise it up onto the front and then they will flip it over, and then the term chasing means that they're then pressing things down to smooth things out and make them a little more refined. So there's this site that talks about repousse, and then another one that I found interesting was this one here, Goldsmithing, Repousse, and Chasing. And they really go through and talk about the different tools, the way they press down the metal, and then the way they come back through. There was another site that I'm going to probably link down below. I will link it down below. And it's this facet. It's really interesting because it goes through the whole process of the repousse and chasing on this Altoids tin, the whole method for how to do it. So I was just really enthralled going through looking at the different steps that they took, and it's not quite as straightforward as you might think. So it's very interesting. So that's what it is. Again, I know I'm probably saying it incorrectly, so apologies if I say repousse incorrectly throughout the whole video, but that's my Texas accent on it, I guess. But let's take a look at some pieces of jewelry that are repousse and also some that might be described as something different. So this is a piece that I found on Pinterest that's got this repousse design where it's etched in from the back. And then this one you can really see from the back on this elephant bracelet. Let's get back to the first picture. There's the first picture. And then you can see on the back part where it's been pushed up in relief on the bracelet there. Again, another one. Now this one, it has, as you can see on the back, you can't really see because they have a whole nother layer of metal there covering the repousse design from the back, but by looking at it from the front you can tell that it's been pressed up and pressed down. And then again on this repousse heart you can't really see the back because it's been covered up, so sometimes you just have to kind of look at it and know. You have to make a decision because there's another form of metalworking where it's embossing, where it's the piece has been put through kind of like the stamp process where it's stamped or pressed in. So when you look at the piece trying to decide whether it is something that's hand done or if it's something that's machine done, because I think that's the big distinction that I needed to make, was that with repousse and chasing, it's something that's going to be done by hand, and then with other forms it's something that might be maybe mass produced or even produced in smaller quantities but is embossed or pressed in to the metal. So sometimes it's tricky to tell which way it might go. And as far as search engine optimization, if you're selling something, it might be something that I put in the description or put in the tags using both terms, pressed, embossed, repousse, because the buyer might be looking for a repousse bracelet, and maybe yours is, not saying that this one is, maybe yours has been embossed, but it kind of still has that look. The buyer might still want to buy it, but being really clear in the description that, I think this one is embossed, or I think this is a true repousse, and just letting the buyer know straightforward one way or the other. Here's another one. They have it repousse and engraved, which would be the chasing, but some people don't know those terms. So I think it's important when you're describing a piece, yes, to be accurate, but then also to use words that the buyer might be searching for, because somebody that's looking for a bracelet like this, say, and maybe they don't know the term repousse, what are they going to look for? They're going to look for, engraved, embossed, etched. So using those other words as well in conjunction with the repousse, if that's what it is. So here's another piece. This one is a Native American bracelet, I think. Let me get back to over here. And this one has got some stamp work, and it's got some, as they say, simple repousse, where it's just pressed in from the back. So as you can see, these curved pieces, these stamps along here, are stamped from the front, and then on the back you can see where those I can't think of the name of that shape right now. This kind of oval shape has been pressed in from the back. So that's a simple repousse, but that's a good term that they could use there. Again, I'll link down below. There's this page on Pinterest which kind of goes through the tools and different styles of it. Again, it's sometimes on artwork, not always just on jewelry. So I was scrolling through some different repousse bracelets because I was trying to find one similar to my lion. My lion was marked India on the inside. I couldn't find one quite just like it, but I did find some other pieces that were that were repousse that I could share with you guys. Sometimes, like this one here on this horn bangle, it'll just be on the end pieces or maybe around the hinge part. I've had bracelets that were like that. This one here, it came up as repousse, and again, I don't think that it is. But I see how they're using it as a keyword. I haven't seen the back of this, but just from the front, what I'm seeing are just the stamp work. So that would be just stamped or pressed, from the front. But if somebody is searching for repousse, then this is going to come up in their search for, obviously, that's what they were going for. Again, I didn't look at the back of it. So just from what I saw from that part, it didn't look like it was repousse. So those of you, if you're watching this and you know a little bit more about repousse, let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are on that. This one is a very clear one. You can see on the back how it's been done. I keep wanting to say tooled, but I'm not sure that's the correct word for that, but that's what I keep wanting to say. Again, here's another one that's got a good example of the repousse coming from the back and then also stamps on the front. So you can see that diamond shape pushed up from the back, and then where it was chased down around the edges on the front, just to give it a little more depth. Here's an example of this ivory bracelet that's got this repousse hinge and clasp on it. So let's get back to my pieces over here. Here's this bracelet that I have. It's a sterling silver floral repousse bracelet. I also put stamped and etched. I put chasing in there for people that might search that as well. But I did also put stamped and etched because there are people that might search for a bracelet similar to this that don't know that vocabulary, repousse. But you can see from the back where it's been pushed up. So sometimes when we're talking about what something is, it's a good idea to take a look at what it isn't. So these would not be considered repousse. I wouldn't even try to put them on as repousse. So these I did put as etched. I don't think I used the word stamped on these because I don't think anybody would be searching for stamped on that. But I did put etched because the metal has been etched in on these cufflinks. Same thing here. This is not repousse. These would be etched. The lines are just pressed down through the metal. So this is one we haven't really talked a whole lot about. This is damascene. These are etched on the front. Now the back sides you might consider sort of repousse, but not really. I think they're just more pressed down because you don't see that from the front side. I think the important thing with that is if we've got this repousse piece, if this design, let's say of this flying goose or duck or whatever it is, were the design on the front side and that was pressed up to show it, then we would be talking about Repousse. But because it's just the pressed design for the back of the piece, it might be a little bit tricky. This one is a vanity set that I sold, and it has what I called a Repousse pattern. It definitely has that pressed up look, that chase design where it's been pressed back down. However, I have a feeling that this is something that was probably mass produced. So would you consider this Repousse? Now, I went ahead and put Repousse pattern, even though I have a feeling that this is something that was not done by hand, likely mass produced by a company for people to buy vanity sets, but it definitely has that Repousse look, so I used that as a keyword. And also on this piece, this one is an Avon bracelet that I have, and if you look at it, you can see the design from the back, but again, I wouldn't consider this Repousse. I mean, I guess you could put the Repousse style in there because you can see that it was pressed up by the back, but because it is an Avon piece, this is going to be something that was mass produced by a machine, probably stamped out and then curved into that cuff pattern. So it's not something that was hand done, but I didn't use the word Repousse in this one, but it's something that I could have done like Repousse style, you know, so if someone was searching for that, that might have come up. I'm going to link the sites that I shared with you guys down in the description box below so that if you want to go and read up a little bit more on Repousse and chasing, you can. Also, leave a comment down below or check out the comment section because a lot of times there's really good conversations going on down there with the descriptions of Repousse, what you would consider Repousse, and also come join us over on Texas Gals Jewelry Lovers, where we will often continue the conversation and share different pieces and ask each other's advice. You know, is this Repousse? Is this, you know, whatever we've been talking about. I hope you found this video helpful. Go down there and give it a thumbs up, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks so much, you guys. Bye.